Class number 2 from the Old Testament, Ways to Study and Understand the Bible. Interpreting the Bible, we should not adjust its meaning to our ideas. To discover the true meaning of the text, we use certain methods. The true meaning of the Holy Scripture can be found, first, with the help of the Bible itself. Second, with the help of auxiliary sources. And now, with the help of the Bible itself, we should, A, contain the words in the context. Consider the words in the context. And B, compare parallel texts. And C, define the meaning of words by usage and purpose. A, consideration of some place in the context means that we explain it in connection with the previous and subsequent words. B, comparing of parallel passages should be used when a text is related to other relevant places of the Holy Scripture. This method extends to all Scripture, so incomprehensible expressions of one place are correlated with more definite, identical, or similar ones in another place. C, determining the meaning of the words by their usage is a way by which words are given such a meaning as the writer himself gave them, because writers did not always give the same meaning to the same words. The sacred writers were separated by long periods of time, and therefore we can notice differences in word usage. The following methods of identification of the correct meaning of Holy Scriptures refers to various auxiliary sources. XYZ. X, let's look at X, referring to the original text and ancient translations of the Scriptures. Y, referring to the interpretations of the ancient church fathers. And Z, referring to the data of different sciences. Now, X, the first method, consists in comparing fragments with the original text and translations. The original text of the Old Testament was not preserved. The modern Bible in Hebrew has changes made by rabbis in the 2nd century AD. The most ancient and reputable text of the Old Testament is its translation into Greek made in the 3rd century BC, the Septuagint. 4 available most ancient manuscripts of the Septuagint are dated 4th and 5th century AD. Septuagint got the highest approval. Of the 235 quotations from the Old Testament books and the New Testament, only 20 are given according to the Hebrew text, and the rest according to Septuagint, because the Greek language was common in that time. That's why the Orthodox Church mostly uses Septuagint and translations from it. Septuagint in Greek means 70, because the first part of it, books of Moses, were translated by 72 interpreters. However, any translation cannot convey the original text ideally. In the Septuagint still, there are some inaccuracies. We even have to use another translation of the book of Daniel. The other important ancient translations are scattered translations into Aramaic, called the Targums, and the translation into Syrian, Peshitta, from the 1st century AD. Now that was all about method X. Now method Y, referring to the ancient church fathers, is important, especially because their interpretation is based on the holy tradition coming from the apostles. Such interpreters are Saint Ephraim the Syrian, Blessed Jerome, Saint John Chrysostom, Saint Basil the Great, etc. So that was Y method. Z method of interpreting. The scientific achievements of the last 100 years in history, archaeology, linguistics, philology, etc. largely confirmed the biblical text. The discovery of the Noah's Ark, Sodom and Gomorrah, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and many others leave no doubt about the truthfulness of the Bible. And so do the data of the natural sciences, which already allow to interpret naturally many things that the previous exegesis could explain only allegorically. For example, a whole concept of creationism has appeared in science. But the main guide in the explanation of the Bible is the church, who, in the person of the prophets and apostles, gave us the Holy Scripture. The sources that contain this decisive voice of the church are 1. Ancient symbols and the symbol of faith. 2. The decisions of the ecumenical and local councils. And 3. The works of the Holy Fathers and teachers of the church. And lastly, number 4, the church prayers and hymns. That concludes class number 2, Ways to Understand the Bible. Goodbye for now.